Hello there, people of the internet. I have kind of not necessarily a controversial video for you guys, but one that I think warrants discussion. This right here is completely opinionated. This is me talking about my opinion on this matter, and if you disagree, that's okay. We're allowed to disagree. Everybody is so focused in on their own opinion that they take it as fact, but other people can have different opinions on different aspects. Today I'm going to talk to you about two of the best universal firearms that you can have. Now right off the bat, I know somebody's going to bring up the AR-15 because they are excellent firearms. You're not wrong. I definitely think the AR-15 is great for hunting, self-defense. They're very customizable, I guess is the word I'm looking for. You can set them up for short range, long range. We got pistols, we got your longer rifles with the extended barrels on them. They have a whole different slew of muzzle compensation. You can throw suppressors on it, you can throw dots on it, any sort of optics that you're looking for. Since the top cover is in fact the top of the receiver, you don't have to worry about some sort of secondary mounting system. They're excellent firearms, but they do have their fair share of downsides as well. A lot of AR-15s, especially your lower budget ones, they are a little bit on the picky side whenever it comes to the type of ammunition that they enjoy running. A lot of times if you're running ammunition that is perhaps cheaper steel case stuff, or perhaps soft points, or perhaps done to different specifications as what the AR-15 was originally designed around, you will start to see a lot of malfunctions. This does not necessarily happen with your better made AR-15s, but it is still the reality of something. Anything mechanical can fail, especially whenever you're trying to run it on something that it wasn't necessarily meant to run on. Well, let me introduce you guys to something that can eat absolutely anything. This right here is a 12 gauge pump action shotgun. I definitely recommend the pump actions over the semi-automatics simply because of reliability. A pump action, since it's manually operated, you can cram anything inside of this shotgun and it will function reliably. A semi-automatic, a lot of semi-automatic shotguns out there will not run birdshot, but they'll run buckshot all right, but if you feed them slugs, they'll beat themselves to death. Now, of course, something like an AR-15 is going to have significantly better capacity than this thing. I think this thing only holds like 6 shells before you have to reload. The AR-15 is also much faster to reload, so the AR-15 does have some pros over this thing, but this thing has far more destructive power over an AR-15, and you can feed this thing absolutely anything that you can fit into a 12 gauge shell. Doesn't even have to be factory ammunition. You can load your own shells for this thing, no problem. These will run with black powder, no problem. Black powder is far easier to make than smokeless powder, and also far less dangerous, especially inside of a system like this. You don't need lead to run this thing. You could throw screws or nails or razor blades or toothpicks. Maybe not toothpicks, they'd probably destroy themselves. You could throw BBs from your BB gun. You can throw absolutely anything into one of these 12 gauge shotguns and it'll eat it and it'll fire it down range. Now the AR-15 is definitely more accurate at a distance, but if you have yourself a 12 gauge shotgun that has some decent sights on it, then you get yourself a rifled barrel and perhaps a slug round, you can hit out to some pretty significant distances as well. Now let me go ahead and show off one of these rounds. I actually have a shell casing from a 54 rimmed loaded into a shotgun shell with some birdshot to add compression. And we're going to go ahead and fire that downrange simply because it's something that can be fired out of a smoothbore shotgun. I don't know if you guys can see the shell firing. Oh, I'm pretty sure I saw it. I hit that car seat down there. Now I'm not going to show off the actual shell itself simply because YouTube doesn't like that and I don't want to get on YouTube's bad side. But if you're defending your home and you're worried about over-penetration, then some birdshot would definitely be a good go-to viable option, especially if you're only going to be fighting in 15-20 yards of space, like if you're inside of an apartment building. And once it hits that drywall, it's going to lose a lot of its momentum and hopefully not kill your neighbors next door. A 223 round would go through that drywall, the drywall, beyond that, drywall beyond that one, and probably continue to go. 223 does break up fairly decently whenever it makes impact, but it still has a lot of force going behind it as well. Or perhaps you're not going to use your shotgun for self-defense. Maybe you want to go take out a deer. Double-aught buck would be excellent for that. You don't necessarily have to even be a good shot aiming at your target, because the rounds spread out so significantly that as long as you're aiming in that general vicinity, that deer will get hit. Now let's say you're up north battling the elements and you decide to yourself that you want to go ahead and get yourself something for protection against grizzly bears, right? 12 gauge slug, Jesus Christ, the amount of damage it would do to that grizzly would be absolutely grisly. You know what, I think I actually have a slug on me. Let's fire that downrange. This is a 1 ounce lead slug that I imagine is going to have quite significant recoil. We're going to go ahead and aim for our steel silhouette out there, because fuck that steel silhouette. Fuck that steel silhouette. Now, like I had said before, if you are, let's say, at a point to where you can't get ammunition for these things, you don't need to necessarily get ammunition for these things. Make yourself some black powder. It's sulfur, potassium nitrate, and carbon, typically in the form of ash. You mix those together like the pioneers did. Load your shotgun shell with whatever it is that you can find. You definitely want to make sure you have some sort of wadding in there to compress the gunpowder and separate the projectile. Whenever I make homemade shotgun shells, I just use a piece of cardboard. I cut it out, pack it in there with a stick or something. Works pretty well. And then you load that bad boy with whatever it is that you're wanting to fire, and it'll fire it. As far as universability, the shotgun definitely has its place. Whenever it comes to communities that are a little bit more on the liberal side and that don't necessarily like the scary black rifle AR-15s, because they don't understand how they work, you can have yourself a shotgun. 9 times out of 10, even your anti-gun friends aren't going to care if you have yourself a shotgun. They might care if you have an AR-15, so maybe depending on where you live, it might be a better option. Especially if you're in California and you got one of those stupid compliant AR-15s where you can't even wrap your hand around the pistol grip, and you gotta take apart the AR-15 in order to load it. Man, it's an absolute mess over there. Now on to another excellent universal firearm, simply because everybody has something like this. This right here is a 22 long rifle. This particular one is a Marlin, but there are so many different brands and genres and types of 22 long rifle out there that pretty much every gun owner has at least one of these. The popularity makes them extremely customizable. They are extremely light recoiling, so they're excellent to learn on. With the light recoil, you also have very quick follow-up shots. Now, the 22 long rifle does lack in power, and it lacks in reliability as well. Centerfire cartridges are definitely ignite better than rimfire cartridges do. That's why 22s oftentimes have misfires and hangfires and things like that. Now, the 22 long rifle, you can cram 1,000 rounds into your backpack way easier than you could cram 1,000 rounds of 223, and you can travel a long distance with this extremely lightweight gun. Now, I'm not telling you to go fight a bear with this thing, but you can take on small game, coyotes, turkeys, anything that would not... The way I would gauge it is anything that would not be a threat to you if it decided to attack could probably be killed with a 22 long rifle. I know I've shot my fair share of ducks with 22 long rifles, and duck, really good. Now, though it's not ideal for self-defense, a 22 long rifle could be used for self-defense. Plenty of people have died by it, but I think that's just because of its popularity. Like I said, pretty much everybody has one of these, and I would certainly take the 22 long rifle over harsh words any day. Now, with its popularity, ease of customization, ammo availability and price, and your ability to carry a lot of ammunition for it, that is one of the reasons why I wanted to say it is one of the best universal firearms that you can own. Now, I do not want this video to be misinterpreted. I'm not saying that these right here are better than other firearms. I'm saying these are good firearms. It seems like whenever I make videos like this, people take what I'm saying out of context. I'm not telling you to get yourself a 22 and a 12 gauge over an AR-15. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you get yourself these right here, you're gonna like them because they're excellent little guns. They definitely have their perks. However, they should definitely not be the only firearms that you own. You should definitely have yourself a long-range precision rifle as well, an AR-15 for, you know, actual personal defense, and some sort of concealable handgun that you can also use in the household if necessary. Those are also excellent firearms to have, but those options are less, I keep using the word universal, but I don't think that's quite the word I'm looking for here. You have less options with rifles and firearms like that, especially whenever it comes to types of ammo, and especially whenever it comes to what the 12 gauge can eat. 22 long rifle, I could understand an argument there, but the 12 gauge, you could load absolutely anything into that. Now, because I fired a couple of rounds from the 12 gauge, may as well fire a couple of rounds from the 22 long rifle. I got just 10 or 11 rounds loaded into this thing, and we're just gonna pop off a few of them. Definitely lay down some serious fire with this thing, especially at your closer distances. Follow-up shots with that is extremely easy, simply because the recoil is extremely low. Alright, well, I'd like to thank you guys for watching. This right here is a popular opinion, but also an unpopular one. A lot of people feel this way, but the ones that don't feel this way feel very strongly about their opinions. So like I said in the start, this right here is completely my opinion. If you think that other firearms are better than these right here, then by all means go ahead and utilize those firearms. I'm just saying these right here are excellent universal firearms. Alright, well, that being said, hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this stuff, subscribe to the channel, because I do this kind of stuff all the time. If you like the video, actually like the video, that definitely helps out. Check out the description, you're going to find some links to social medias and Discord and Patreon and gaming channel where I get drunk, play video games. That's a good time right there. Okay, well, temperature's falling. I'm going to go throw on a little heavier jacket, because this thing right here is not as warm as I would like. So I'm gonna go do that, probably grab something to eat too, because I'm starved half to death. You guys go off, have a fantastic day, and sincerely, thanks for watching. Since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garen. Shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.